Now, to the story of the genius behind the design of Washington, D.C. Benjamin Banneker was one of the first African Americans to gain notoriety for his work and study. He was born on November 9th, 1731 in Ellicott's Mills, Maryland, to Robert, a freed slave from Guinea, and Mary Banneker. Mary was the daughter of an English indentured servant named Molly Welsh and her freed slave, Banneker. Since both of his parents were free, Banneker escaped from the clutches of slavery. Living on a 100-acre family farm with his parents and 3 sisters, Benjamin had grown up in a stable home where he was able to develop into a learned young man. His grandmother, Molly, taught young Benjamin how to read and to write, and he attended a Quaker school for a short while. Yet essentially he was self-educated and an avid reader who spent a lot of his time borrowing books. As a young scholar, Banneker showed great aptitude for mathematics and science. However, Banneker's major reputation would stem from his service as a surveyor on the 6-man team, which helped design the blueprints for Washington, D.C. In August of 1791, Benjamin Banneker would send a draft of an almanac, which he was readying for publication, to Thomas Jefferson, the then Secretary of State. He felt compelled to include a personal note, which was a 12-page letter where Banneker refuted the statement that blacks were inferior to whites. Jefferson praised the almanac and informed Banneker that he was sending it along to the Marquis de Condorcet, a French philosopher, mathematician, and abolitionist. Jefferson would praise Banneker as a credit to the black race. Regarding Washington, D.C.'s design, Benjamin Banneker was already a practiced mathematician and astronomer when he was approached in 1791 by his friend, Andrew Ellicott, to survey the land staked out for the new United States Capitol. Banneker's principal role in surveying the new Capitol was to make astronomical observations, for which the survey's starting point could be determined. He also used his calculations to establish the boundary points for the district. Banneker was well suited for this role, having already accurately predicted solar and lunar eclipses, sunrises, and sunsets. But his contributions to the creation of the nation's capital would grow beyond what anyone anticipated. When the United States officially adopted the Constitution in 1789, there was as much debate about the location and shape of the new federal capital as there was about the other affairs of the new nation. The argument over its location, whether it be Boston or Philadelphia or New York, was so vehement that some feared it would shatter the unity of the young republic before it got off the ground. Even before the location for a new federal capital called for in the Constitution was settled, Pierre Charles L'Enfant would write to George Washington with a request to be commissioned to design the federal city. He would be granted his wish when Congress would pass the Residence Act of 1790, which set the permanent site for the Capitol on the Potomac River. L'Enfant's plans were well received, but he proved to be extremely difficult to work with, arguing incessantly with the commissioners in charge of the Capitol project. He frequently stepped beyond his mandate in budgetary and design issues, and Washington begrudgingly relieved him in 1792. When L'Enfant left the project, he took all the designs with him, leaving the project in disarray. Unsure of how to proceed, Ellicott and the other planners feared that they might have to start from scratch. According to writer Gaius Chamberlain, Banneker surprised them when he asserted that he could reproduce the plans from memory and in 2 days, and did exactly as he had promised. However, using his meticulous memory, Benjamin Banneker was able to recreate the plans. His mathematical prowess filled the void, providing the precise calculations needed to translate L'Enfant's vision into reality. Therefore, Washington, D.C., with its grand avenues and buildings, was completed and stands today as a monument to Banneker's genius.